evening, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you very much for giving me a voice. I will today talk about comparison of the adding of bacteria for mm, by in case of ethanol fermentation and anaerobic digestion on comparison on feed meaning of organic function of municipal solid waste, and basing on article proved by Professor Alfonso Duran Moreno from Universidad Nacional de Mexico, Mexico City. The article is published in Bioenergy Research. We talked about some time about Chinese attempt to produce as humic acid and that serve on serve on autochthonous uh, fermentation, so born by bacteria in the feed, or was used also by Penteaton for dark fermentation. In this case, we have comparison how it works in case of ethanol and methanol production, as two very important due to ethanol is very important biofuel, and and the case the bioaugmentation is giving allows to adding some bacteria which are necessary. Of course, we see that in such case of ethanol fungi, yeast are already in such case usual in waste. So not always we can need to add, but they serve. Also, method fermentation can be like this, and the says is different called this biofermentation or autochthonous fermentation. But this is but the south. Also in grape is very observed of fermentation by Professor Dima from. And here we have how it work. The the organic fraction of municipal solid waste uh, was carried from the Koyokan transfer station. It was separate from metal and plastic, and then showed the use. And first was to part for ethanol fermentation, and then to check mm, biometal biogas methane potential test in as similar to German or national uh, of metal potential test system, and the case of ethanol was without pH control in mesophilic, and first was without, and second with additional Saccharomyces cerevisiae, so yeast of ethanol yeast especially, and mix in the stirring of 3,000 rpm. The the fermenter was 2 liter bottle, but working was 1.5 liter, and there was the first. The remaining role was for biometa potential, where that it wasn't, was for used, and this was but a fermenter or working volume of 400 milliliters, and also mesophilic. And the addition was also for methane digester in wastewater treatment. But here was stirring also required 2,500, so 500 lit more or less than the case of ethanol, as it is considered as better in most publication. It was adding some micronutrient as nickel, iron, salts, and some different. Our pH was 7.1, so neutral, not pH, not acidic, so not for uh, acid, and then was buffer for phosphate water for keeping pH of 7, and the result was that in case of adding some bacteria to the fermentation of ethanol was much higher in case of ethanol than in methane, and methanol was higher efficiency than methane, but methane was in 85% according to tests. But still, according to knowledge, that in case of organic load is not given, the making is uh, adding would be still not know how it works in industrial, but it gives hopes. The production in gas ethanol, they don't check anything more than methanol, methane, and ethanol, so we don't know how other gas occurs, but yield was high. In case of the highest was with bioaugmentation of 24 gram per kilogram of organic uh, organic fraction of municipal solid waste, and used in case of methane there was addition to 12 to lower 12 gram per kilogram, so 12 lies. But methane was 86, so quite high without upgrading. So this waste, which are was organic waste, which are considered not from in Mexico, as very good source of methane, because we not without upgrading we have obtained high methane production, even useful for without upgrading. So this is very promising. An addition had in containing. So 5 to 10% was higher. So quite much. So this shows that augmentation, so adding bacteria is helping much. But still, this shows that the starting bacteria above system, and it's very important because showing how this could improve, and that the methane and ethanol are very good source of reducing landfill in every uh, municipal solid waste landfilling. So this is a help and giving some extra gas, biogas, even sufficient uh, for cooking and chemicals industry. So this is very good information, and This can be opted. This can shows that very good option in case of Mexico when mesophilic is not because high temperatures, so we're not giving extra heat for keeping this in heat. So it's very good idea. So this is for countries like Mexico, showing that methane and ethanol is very good idea. And for example, but to landfilling, reducing and keeping steady. So thank you very much for listening to me. And